Gold can make you rich, but it keeps most traders out the market long term. See, everyone trade gold because it looks super easy. But here's why I stopped trading gold long term and started trading these other three that now makes me this amount of money consistently. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the most three powerful assets you can trade that is way more consistent than gold. Gold is really good, yes, but spikes happens a lot, stop hunts happen consistently, and it's very unpredictable. But what if I showed you three assets that are super predictable and also show you the strategy that is very predictable and consistently can pay you out, whether if you're trading a prop firm or even a broker? This is what this video is for. Now, if you don't know who I am, I go by Solo ETV, and on my channel, I talk about scaling and consistently growing accounts. And if you did not see us take a $4,000 to $40,000 here on my YouTube live stream, I suggest you subscribe now. Also in my YouTube channel, I show you guys consistently of how it is very important to master only 1 to 3 assets so you can really understand the moves and understand when to trade it. And that is exactly what's going to happen now in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to it. So what do I trade instead? These 3 prints faster, is a lot smoother, and it's more scalable. As you currently see on our account, we have 60K profit. We started at about $50,000, and this will apply for any account size you have. Does not matter your account size, so keep that in mind. Now, if you need a broker to sign up with, this is the broker we are using to make these videos and make these trades possible. It is FX. They do offer up to 1 to 1,000 leverage. In addition to that, if you have an account and you want extra funds, they are now doing a Tradelocker 100% sign-on bonus. Really what it means is if you deposit $1,000 or up to $10,000, they will give you 100% of whatever you put into your Tradelocker account. Now, they do offer MT5 and also Tradelocker as an option to trade. And like I said, this is what we're currently using to make these videos possible. So once again, sign up if you guys need a broker or want to switch over to a new broker to start making profitable trades. So the first one we're going to get into is the intraday sprinter, which is GBP yen. The psychology behind this is GBP thrives in volatility. It loves clean directional moves. When London overlaps with New York, that is go time. It traps early breakout traders. For those that trade breakouts, this is where you get trapped. Then reverses fast into a structural wave, which is 3 trends. And this is something called Elliott wave theory that I use. And I will be talking about that a little bit more in the easiest way of how to trade it. The way you want to trade this is the session timing is everything. Your main focus is going into London to New York overlapping 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern time for London. Now, if you want to trade New York, you're looking at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time for New York. Now, the trigger for this is quite simple. Look for liquidity sweeps of London highs / London lows, especially right before New York opening. And then your confirmation is going to be looking for an engulfing candle to close either above or below the 9 EMA at the 44 to 618 retracement. Now, why is this level so important? The reason being is if you figure out the range and you draw out your fibs, anything in between the 44% and the 618 mark is going to always be the most valid level of structure. If you follow any ICT concepts, any smart money concepts, supply demand, anything that requires you looking for the market to tap into to actually enter, this is where you should be looking for your entries, also known as your valid POI levels. So I focus mainly on any valid POI level in here. This is why I don't draw up anything until I draw my fibs, and I only look for those levels inside of that because it seems to be most accurate and more profitable. Now for the confluence, you want to use something called session box, and what this is a tool that gives you more leeway of what sessions you're in. And this is a free indicator you can get on TradingView. If you come up top to indicators, which you can't see here, you literally type in trading sessions and you can just get it. You don't have to change the settings. This is just right out the door of what I am using. Now, once you see and get that, next thing is you want to focus on liquidity sweeps. Your main goal is to use the fib retracement plus imbalance alignment. This is once again looking for POI levels in between these 2 levels and only these 2 levels. And then after that, you look for a candle power close across the 9 EMA. The reason why we use the 9 EMA is because this is a valid reason of why you should be entering in the market now, because it shows that the volume spikes is happening and you need to enter. Now for the exit model, your target should always be targeting the 0.27 fibs, which should be at least a minimum of a 1 to 2. Meaning if you get in the market and your negative 0.27 fib is here and your entry is here and your stop loss is here, but it just quite doesn't align to a 1 or 2, that is a scary trade to take. The goal is to always make sure the fibs align with the 1 to 2. That shows confluences, that shows that this is a valid level for you to actually enter and make profits. And then the runner will always try to be letting it run to your negative 0.618 if it tends to trend correctly or continuously. And what this basically means is you can allow this trade to make more profits rather if you want it to grow more on your account. Now let's talk about my personal favorite out this 3 is US oil. A lot of traders starting to trade US oil now because I'm starting to realize it is a thing that is making money because it makes sense. Oil is a structured and disciplined asset. It respects sessions timing, and I'm gonna show you the session timing that I always look for. It gives you precise liquidity sweeps. Yes, it is slower than gold, it is slower than NASDAQ, but it is way more predictable and rewarding to traders who wait for the right New York window. Let me explain. How I trade this is during the New York opening, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time. This is the best setup that appears to show the right profitable trades. The trigger that I look for is I look for the liquidity sweeps of the prior day's high or the day's low or even the pre-market levels. And then the confirmation, I look for a power candle that closes across the 9 EMA after, remember, the 44% retracement. So if I'm looking at a range and I draw out my fibs, anything below or above that 44% is a valid POI level that I see, whether this is imbalance, supply, demand, key levels, and so forth. That is a level of interest you should be paying attention to. For the confluence, liquidity grabs at session high and low. Your fib retracement zone will always be the 44% and the 618. Only look for levels in between this. Ignore everything else. And then your volume spikes, which is basically going to be the EMA rejection, which is really looking for it to cross below or above the 9 EMA, depending on the direction you're trading. Now for the exit model, target 20 plus pips with this minimum. So what I mean by that is if you get in a trade, just go for a 20 pips minimum and then let it run to the negative 0.618 fib extension tool. Let me show you guys how this looks in the market. So as you see, this is the setup that we had with our session boxes London. You see that we had our equal lows. This is what we want to consider a valid level of respected liquidity sweeps. What I mean by that is I'm looking for market to mainly sweep this low, particularly because we have two levels that match in the same area. Now, if you look at this large wick here, you look at this wick and this wick here, you might already assume this is a liquidity sweep, but no, it's not. Most traders look at liquidity sweeps as just a line, but you need to think of it as a box or more so a zone. And the reason being is because lines don't mean shit in the market. What actually matters is a pool of money. So if there is a pool of money, regardless of the size, if you're looking at a small pool to an XL large pool, you're going to have a lot of money in that, and that is building up and building up as times go. So your goal is to draw out essentially a box from the highest wick to the lowest wick. And what I basically mean is wherever you start to see the wick start happening, which started happening here because we have a body and this is the first large wick. The largest wick, which is really the swing low wick, is this wick here. So that's where it ends. Now this is where I want to start to see liquidity sweep all of this out, and that happened right here. Now after we get that sweep of liquidity, the next thing is you want to start to look for the power candles, as I explained earlier. Remember, the goal is to trade at a particular time. So this is also where you want to be careful. The time to be trading this, like I said, is anywhere from 8, hopefully going to 9:30. Sometimes it might be a little later, but the best windows is usually from those times. However, the setup did not really happen until 10:20 or to 10:30 a.m. However, we were still able to catch this knowing that we had more than 20 pips here, and this gave me the target to make my profits that you guys seen earlier of me showing how much money we made just by trading oil and a couple others. But as you see, this right here is the most profitable way to scale an account, especially on oil. Now, the next one is also another favorite, which is the wild card, NASDAQ. The psychology behind this is NASDAQ is explosive. Doesn't just move, it rips. Perfect for scalpers like me who can control volatility. It rewards discipline though. During the 9:20 to 9:45 a.m. Eastern time is the hitting cash open window for most traders are basically overlooking this. How you want to trade this is, like I said, pre-New York to cash opening hours is 9:20 to 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. Trigger behind this is actually quite simple. You want to look for liquidity sweeps of the pre-market highs, also the pre-market lows. And then for the actual entry, you want to look for engulfing candles known as a power candle that close and crosses the 9 EMA. And you look for that. Once you see it tap in anywhere from the 44% or the 618 retracement POI level. Now the confluence is pre-market range sweeps, fib plus imbalance alignment, meaning that the fibs, you draw it out, it must align with the imbalance in between the 44% and 618. And then the session volume surge is once again this confirmation here. You just want to secure 20 points. That's all you need to scalp. And you just let it run to the negative 0.618 fibs. And that is how you can really scale an account. Now, I drew up a reality check comparison to show you guys why all of these really matter. Now, as you see with gold, the range we have 150 to 250 pips. You can actually catch a lot more, but I realized this is literally average what a trader would trade and catch if they trading gold all day. Best sessions is literally all day with gold, and that is true, but most lose. Why? Because they don't have a real plan on how to trade gold, because it is very volatile during London, Asian, and New York session. And when they see it set up, they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna trade it. But the reason why these three are more profitable is because they don't move all day. Like GBP yen, you can catch 120 pips to 180 pips. And yes, London and New York is really the time to trade it, but it is consistent. Rather with US oil, you can catch 200 to 300 points or pips, but New York opening is mainly where you're catching these. And it is the most predictable, meaning if you're trading textbook strategies, you could get that done easily with US oil. And then NASDAQ, you can catch even more, 300 to 500 points cash opening hours, which is New York. And it is the most highest profitable setups ever. If it was up to me, I will go with something that is super predictable, because I know I am going to have the most consistent, and that is going to be US oil. If it is you and you want something consistent, you go with GJ. But if you want high profitable setups because maybe you don't have time to always look at the charts, go with NASDAQ. And this is why I say trading these three assets will make you way more profitable than any other traders. Even if you look at our results here, you see that we have traders making profits off of these assets. Now, looking at our results, we trade US oil on our Discord. And this, like I said, is where we make most of the profits. A lot of our traders that do trade other assets, but they're profitable because we talk a lot about how to be consistent with just mainly 1 to 3 assets. As you see here, we have a trader that is mainly trading gold and they're profitable. And as you see, this was their entry here. And as you also see, we have another trader that also has just mainly 3 assets they trade, but they're profitable. And then as you see, we have a lot more results of other traders being profitable and consistent because of what I teach and how I teach it. So here's the thing. Stick with gold if you want to gamble, especially if you don't have a plan. But if you want steady growth in 2025 and actually start seeing profits like you're seeing what we're doing in our community and also in my account, go with one of these 3. I highly suggest picking one and then sticking with that, learning it, and then trading it first before you start dibbling into other assets. This is going to make your win rate become higher and make your profit factor become a lot higher as well. And me saying that is saying this. If you guys want to tap into TradeWithSolo.com, you can do that by going to TradeWithSolo.com and getting more access to what we do directly in our community. I would love to have you guys in my community, as well as now the community is also for free. But if you want the signals and if you want the videos and all of that stuff, you can get all that through TradeWithSolo.com. But just go and join the community and tapping in with a little bit more what we do, you can do that. That link is down below, just to our Discord, and also the Trade with Solo is also down below. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, if you need a broker, you can go with Gates FX. And if you want to see more videos like this, comment, let me know seriously on a serious note. I would appreciate that 100%. Your boy Solo tapping out. I'll see you guys in my next video. Let's go.